Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Tuesday, December the 14th, and welcome to our video commentary. I have a post over at the American Thinker today, Tuesday morning. You can see it at the American Thinker, or you can see it at my blog, or if you follow me on Facebook, you can see it on the same page that you're watching this video. And the article is about crime in the city. I mean, we've had this incredible increase in horrific crime statistics in many of our cities. Now, these cities, what they have in common is that they're basically run by Democrats. So Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, I mean, it's just Seattle, Portland, these cities, LA, San Francisco, these cities are just out of control. I mean, the cities are no longer protecting the citizens who live in those cities. And in many cases, it's a combination of terrible Democrat leadership that doesn't seem to want to confront the problem, cutting back on the police or not defending the police or simply standing with the police when you have crime of this nature. So obviously the crime is going up, the numbers are going up. Some cities right now are already exceeding last year's totals for homicides and for crime. I mean, look at Chicago. Chicago is a killing field every weekend. You know, sometimes 40 or 50 people shot, sometimes 8 to 10 people killed. And that's life in Chicago every weekend. I mean, it's pathetic, but that's the way it is. And the Democrat leadership that runs these cities, many of the Democrat governors who run these states apparently will do nothing about it. So I think a lot of the anger is being directed at President Biden, even though, I mean, obviously he's restricted with what he can do because this is a local problem, but he could come out and say something about it. He could threaten to send in the National Guard to Chicago, for example, on the weekends to make sure that all these children are not being killed by this crime. But, you know, the White House is fairly quiet. They talk about sending money, but money is not the answer. What they need is manpower. What they also need is support. The police in many of these cities needs to know that the President of the United States understands what their situation is like, because the local leadership obviously doesn't see that. And again, the governors of Illinois, Pennsylvania, the state of Washington, the state of Oregon, the state of Minnesota, where a lot of this crime is happening in Minneapolis, for example, the Democrat governors don't seem to understand the importance of protecting property and protecting citizens. So it's all being directed, all the anger is now being directed at President Biden, who again seems completely disconnected from the reality of many of these cities. Again, we understand that the president can only do so much, but the president could call the mayor of Chicago and say, look, if you cannot protect your city, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to put the National Guard in Chicago this weekend, and until you can control your city. I think most citizens of Chicago, particularly in this neighborhood where the crime is rampant, I think most of them would love to see tanks and troops on the streets and at least protect their streets and protect their children. I mean, it's amazing the number of children who are being killed in many of these cities simply because they happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. So crime in the city, another big problem on the table for President Biden, and another example of how President Biden just doesn't seem to understand that problems have to be addressed. It's not just a question of talking about climate change or talking about systemic racism. You got to deal with the problem on the street. And the problem on the street is that people are killing each other and cities are out of control, and the local government is not doing anything about it. Thank you for watching. And if today is your birthday, happy birthday. Bye-bye, everybody.